Hello, the internet. You caught me at breakfast. Just having that ever so nutritious pizza, like my favorite 4.5 shell usually do. But, anyway, I'm not here to eat pizza in front of you. Give me a minute. What I am here to talk to you about today are some of my favorite books from when I was a kid. The Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark series. Unfortunately, I'm missing the first one in the series, which was, of course, Scary Stories 1, which had the awesome picture of, like, that weird head growing out of the ground with, like, blue nose, red hair and stuff, and, like, the farm in the background. If you ever read it, you know what I'm talking about. And if not, Google it. And there's a message from my sister. Anyway, I'll ignore her for right now. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, the reason why I wanted to bring up to you guys today these books is because of a little challenge I'd like to pose to you. And this is called the Oxleymations Every Other Line Challenge. It's where you take a story from one of your favorite books. It works especially well with the short, short chapter books. And you literally do as the title of the challenge suggests. You read every other line. For example, here is The Brown Suit, every other line. And of course, it's very short. That's literally the entire story right there. So, without further ado, let's get started. The Brown Suit. A woman came into the funeral parlor to see her husband's corpse. He looks just the way he always did, except for one thing. "This is no problem," said the undertaker. "We can easily change it." "Now he looks just the way he always did," she said. "It was no trouble," he said. "As it happens, there was a man here who was wearing a brown suit, and his widow felt that blue would be better. So we gave him the blue one and gave your husband the brown one." "Not really," said the undertaker. "All we did was exchange their heads." Now see, in that context, it doesn't make sense, does it? And that is the challenge. You're supposed to take just one story, or you can possibly even use your favorite song, the lyrics of your favorite song, and mix them up like that. And try and see if they will make a coherent story still. And it's especially good for scary stories. Like, take a story, one of the shorter stories that really, really scares you, and mix it up like this, and see if it still has the same punch, still scares you the way that it would if normally read. For example, here's The Voice. I'll read it in two different ways. The way it's written, and then my way. Let's take a listen. The Voice. Ellen had just fallen asleep when she heard a strange voice. "Ellen," it whispered, "I'm coming up the stairs. I'm on the first step. Now I'm on the second step." Ellen got scared and called her parents, but they didn't hear her and they didn't come. Then the voice whispered, "Ellen, I'm on the top step. Now I'm in the hall. Now I'm outside your room." Then it whispered, "I'm standing right next to your bed." And then, "I've got you!" Ellen screamed and the voice stopped. Her father rushed into the room and turned on the light. "Somebody's in here," Ellen said. They looked and looked. Nobody was there. Okay, so that's The Voice as it's meant to be written, and again, yes, that was another little shorty short. Just gotta love those illustrations by Stephen Gamble. Those creep-tastic illustrations. But now, let's read it my way. Ellen had just fallen asleep when she heard a strange voice. I am on the first step. Ellen got scared and called to her parents, but they didn't hear her and they didn't come. Now I'm in the hall. Then it whispered, "I'm standing right next to your bed." "I've got you!" Her father rushed into the room and turned on the light. They looked and looked. Nobody was there. Now see, that just sounds silly. It's not scary like the first one. Now see, as stated before, you can do that with any book, but as stated, if you can, stick to these shorter stories, because I imagine trying to read Harry Potter this way, the way I just described, or Stephen King for that matter. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work for a minute. Well, it would, but then it would get really tedious and you'd probably get fed up and just start reading it the normal way. But anywho, this is just a little Oxleymations challenge, a little tip to help you get over things that startle you, like in stories like this. Oh, since I have these books out, I have to read you guys one of my absolute favorite stories. It's called The Bad News. This is from the humorous section of the book, so it's not going to be scary and stuff, you know, for all you little kiddies who are watching, which you shouldn't be watching this. Occasionally I do swear, and I'm thinking this would be PG-13, but anyway, I'm rambling now. My favorite story, The Bad News. Leon and Todd loved baseball. When they were young, they had played on the town's baseball team. Leon had been the pitcher, and Todd had always played second base. Now that they were older, a lot older, they spent their free time watching baseball games on TV and talking about baseball. "Do you think they play baseball in heaven?" Leon asked Todd one day. "That's a good question," said Todd. "The one who gets there first should let the other one know somehow." As it turned out, Todd got to heaven first, and Leon waited patiently to hear from him. One day, Leon found Todd sitting in the living room waiting for him. Leon was very excited to see him. What is it like up there?" he asked, and what about baseball?" "When it comes to baseball," said Todd, "I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is we do play baseball in heaven. We have some fine teams. I play second base on my team, just like in the old days." "That's the good news." "Well, what's the bad news?" asked Leon. "The bad news," said Todd, "is that you're scheduled to pitch tomorrow." Dun dun dun! And for those of you who don't get the gist of the story, apparently, since Todd's dead and he came back to visit his friend Leon, and he says that Leon is scheduled to pitch tomorrow, then Leon is gonna die. I don't know why, but I think I'm a little twisted, but that story just always makes me smile. Just that the bad news is that you're scheduled to pitch tomorrow. Now, another favorite thing from this story, you know, this little series of books, is the little song called Baroom. And it's another little shorty short. And the only reason why I know how to sing this is because of the wonderfully narrated book on tape version of this story. Who on earth did the narration? George S. Irving. You might know him as Heat Miser from Santa Claus, The Year Without a Santa Claus. But anyway, the song goes like this. Baroom is the title. O'Leary is dead, and O'Reilly don't know it. O'Reilly is dead, and O'Leary don't know it. They both are dead in the very same bed, and neither one knows that the other one's dead. Baroom, baroom. O'Leary is dead, and O'Reilly don't know it. O'Reilly is dead, and O'Leary don't know it. They both are dead in the very same bed, and neither one knows that the other one's dead. Baroom, baroom. It's just such a goofy little song. It's kind of dark, obviously, because, you know, they're both dead in the very same bed. but neither one knows that the other one's dead. And Barum. But anyway, I've wasted your guys' time long enough. So this concludes quite possibly the first of, I don't know, several Oxleymations story corners. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. And yeah, that's literally all I've got for this episode. Except for, of course, this. Ooh, look at the triple-headed creeper thingy. Ooh, look at that one. And oh, look at that one. And look at that one. And last but not least, one of the images that actually used to scare me a lot when I was a kid. Well, one of the images from these two books used to freak me out as a kid. The wolf girl. Look into those eyes and tell me that that is not creepy as all hell. You can't tell me that, can you? But on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my breakfast. And as the guys in green would say, cowabunga, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.